What is up, guys? This is Matt Cox back here with another episode of the Saucetown Investor Podcast. With these pods, I want to try to give you guys kind of a good mix of looking at deals mixed in with kind of tactical stuff around landlording, finding deals, etc. And then, a mix of kind of high-level business and mindset stuff that you can really apply not just to real estate, but across the board. Today, what we're going to go into is a deal. And we are going to talk about my first deal that I did in the year 2025. So did a bunch of stuff in 24, closed on a lot of units. I think we did, 18 units in 24. And then we added two more on January 2nd, the first business day of 2025. We were not closing any deals on New Year's Day during the Rose Bowl while the Ducks got their ass kicked, for those that watch. But so anyway, here is a bit of a deal deep dive for you guys. This is an interesting one. You see a lot of stuff or listen to a lot of stuff on, Instagram or from various investors. They talk about doing creative deals. Now, when you're starting out, there's often not a ton of room for creativity, but the more kind of higher level you get, the more variables there are in a deal. When you're buying a house just for yourself to live in, oftentimes it's kind of a one-track conversation. You're talking about the price. When you're looking at things from more of an investor standpoint, it changes a little bit. There's more kind of levers you can pull to make the deal work for you. You'll hear a lot of, it's in negotiation, there's a saying, we can do your price in my terms or my price and your terms. I'll give an example of what that means in a minute. But in the context of this deal, this was a duplex in Salem, Northeast Salem, actually right next to North Salem High School. Not really a duplex in the traditional sense that you think of with attached walls or anything. It's more of a just two different houses on one lot. You got one big house. There's four bedrooms, one bathroom, and then a smaller house, a very small 3-bedroom. It is a 3-bedroom, but very small 3-bedroom. One bathroom house. So this seller had been on market for a bit, had the house listed. And guys, that's another thing to note. There's this idea that you have to buy off-market deals in order to get a deal. It's not true. There's and in fairness, like I used to think that as well. It's something that's pushed. You got to go off market. You got to find distressed sellers. Blah blah blah. It's not true. You can find good stuff on market. You can find good stuff off market. So this one had been listed for a bit. It was an older gentleman who owns a handful of properties throughout the Salem area. And basically he was tired of being a landlord. He just, there's hassle that comes with this business. There's tenant relations, there's maintenance, all that stuff. It is a business, and he was tired of it. And, a lot of sellers, this house was listed, or actually two houses, duplex, whatever you want to call it, was listed for $575,000, which was honestly a pretty aggressive price. And what was unique about this guy, most sellers, they just want to get all of their money and they want to move on, right? They want a full $575K. This guy was willing to actually seller carry. And guys, look up what seller carry or seller finance means, but just a high level. All that it means is that the seller is acting as the bank. So in the same way that you go to Chase, Wells Fargo, or your local credit union, whatever, to go get a home loan, the seller actually lends you the money. So what we did here, the house was $575K. He lended me $545,000. So he has a lien on the house, a mortgage on the house for $545,000. And then I had to bring $30,000 to close. So I bought $575,000 of real estate for $30,000 in effect. Obviously, I owe him the money. I didn't I didn't actually buy the house for $30K, but $30K out of pocket to close. So that's part one of what made this a really attractive deal. But what made it even more attractive is he gave me, so we all remember, most of us remember, I think, back in 2021 and even early 22, when you could get interest, when you could get a mortgage for, three, sometimes even under 3.5%. These days, the market rate for mortgage is 7%. Some of these investor loans that I do are 6.5% or even closer to 6%. But point being that they're much higher. This guy lended $545,000 at a 4% interest rate. And that's the beauty of doing these creative deals with sellers. And the key here, like, you're probably listening to this and going, "Oh man, that guy got screwed. Like, why would he ever do that?" And that's a zero-sum game way to look at it. The key to doing these deals is creating a win-win scenario. So this older gentleman, he owns this place. He's a landlord, and he was charging, I believe, $2,500 for rent between the two houses. That's way below market. He could have raised them, but like I said, he doesn't want to be a landlord anymore. He doesn't want to deal with finding new tenants and raising the rents and all of that stuff. So he lended me this money. Guess what his monthly payment that he receives from me is? Just think about it for a second. He was getting $2,500 in rents. So he lends me this money. His monthly payment he receives from me is $2,650. So he took a job as a landlord that was paying him $2,500, and he traded it out for literally passive income. And guys, I'll say this, I'll do a whole episode about this, but being a landlord or owning real estate is not passive income. But he turned himself into a lender. He lended Matt the money, and he gave himself a raise. So he took $2,500 of active income, turned it in to $2,650 of passive income. That's a win, right? Sounds like a nicer retirement than having to find tenants and go and fix toilets. So I win because I get to kind of turn back the clock and get a good 2021, 2022 type interest rate. He wins because he gets a monthly cash flow that's higher than what he was getting before. And now I get to go in and do what I'm good at. I'm an active investor. I'm not trying to retire. I want to do the work and raise the value and raise rents and all that stuff. So now I pay him each month. I go in, I've got a house, the 4-bedroom that I can rent for probably $2,500. And then I've got the 3-bedroom that rents for about $1,800. So you're talking about $4,300 in rent income. I pay him $2,650. On top of that, there's more. You do have to pay, of course, taxes and insurance, but I don't have it in front of me. The numbers break down to just over $3,000 in monthly payments between, we call that PITI, principal and interest on the loan, property taxes, and insurance. Of course, you got repairs and things like that. This is a bit of an oversimplification, but it's a good deal for me. It's a good deal for him. I don't owe him that money. That money's on a 30-year amortization schedule, just like a lot of you guys probably have on your personal residence. It has a 10-year balloon, meaning he has to get paid off in 10 years. So I buy myself basically a 10-year runway to try to raise the rents, raise the value of this property. I'm willing, there's no guarantees, but I'm willing to bet that real estate and rents are higher 10 years from today than they are right now. So that is the first deal that I did here in 2025. And it really shows you the power of structuring these things creatively. And one other thing worth noting, I didn't even mention this, is he got the price he wanted too. If anything, I probably paid above market value for this property. And I'm okay with that. And like we said at the beginning of this episode, right? It's either my price, your terms, or your price, my terms. In this case, He got his price, $575. I got my terms, low interest rate, quality debt that I'm happy to hold for 10 years. And he wins again by getting a nice monthly payment of passive income. So hope that helps you guys. But yeah, when you're doing these deals, there's so many people out there that like they think everything's a zero-sum game. There's a winner and a loser. That's not true, okay? Your best deals in most cases, especially in the multifamily space, both sides are going to win. So think about when you're talking to sellers, find out what they want. What is a win for this seller? If you can help them get their win, you're probably going to get your win as well. Thanks, guys.